on the front of their car. The biggest threat from this pest is the spread of excrement. These savages cause harm to many native species and have even spawned an entirely new one, the Beltsville Lake Monster. Here at the DeWeather Institute for Climate Knowledge, we have a dedicated group of volunteers working tirelessly to clean up the mess. The team of emergency responders for dispersion and skimming, or the turds. But the job is just too big, and we can't do it without your help. So be a hero, be a turd.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network. Yes, we are back for our second to last show of the 2020 season. My name is Burt Wojcik. Alongside me, as always, is big, sexy Adam Rubright, Chris Graham, our executive producer. And Adam, you survived Charlotte. I survived Bridgeport. It was a good weekend. Great racing all around, and a lot of surprises this weekend, especially down south. You saw some wild stuff, especially on the modified side of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll get into that a little bit later. Shitty luck continues for the Dryden 1S. I mean, goddamn, I should have won both of those features this weekend.
I thought we were changing it this week.
Me too.
Oh, damn, that sucks. That does suck. But anyway, we'll get right to it with our guest here tonight. He is one of the winners we were just talking about on the modified side. Picked up his first career Super DIRTcar Series win down at the dirt track at Charlotte. Young Alex Yankowski. Alex, welcome to the Highside Hustle, my friend. Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem, man. So, talk about Friday a little bit, man. You go out. You were fast all night long against some of the best in the country. And if I'm right, was this your first or second time down on the dirt track at Charlotte?
My first. At that time, it was my only time.
Wow.
So
and
just
you go
wild day.
Wow. You go down and you get on the pole of your heat, which is massive. I think it's Super DIRTcar racing, and then you come out in a feature and put on an absolute clinic. Tell us a little bit about that race on Friday night, because man, I tell you what, you looked very impressive, man.
I think that was just a result of just a little bit of luck and just a really good group of guys. A lot of hard work over the summertime, and really we didn't really get that many feature wins, but I think we were always there. And fortunately, I bet you half the races I won were good paying ones. So that's probably better than the $2,000 win races and stuff like that. I'd rather have a couple of the big ones than 10 of the other ones.
Hey, I can't blame you there. I mean, just in the last 2.5 months alone, you won the Coal Cracker Diamond, you became the youngest ever winner in Super DIRTcar Series history with your win down in Charlotte. And towards the end of that race, I was sitting up in the grandstands thinking to myself, man, that he has a shot at this if he didn't use up his tires trying to get to the front. And then that late race restart, what's going through your mind? You're sitting, I think, second on the outside of Larry Wright, who was dominating the field up until that point. What's going to your mind on that restart?
I was pretty calm. I tried not to think about it really. I got to second there. Took me a little bit of time to get to second, longer than I really wanted it to, or probably should have. But I knew Larry was kind of pretty far out, even when I was still in fourth. So, I got to second, and then I was just looking for him. I didn't know where he was at, and I think every time I saw a lap car, it was a red car, so I didn't know if it was him or not, and it wasn't. So, and I was like, I'm second, right? And I'm looking up at the scoreboard, and And I'm like, all right, yeah, Larry's still leading. I'm looking at the Jumbotron, and I saw him come out of a corner, but I didn't know where he was at. I couldn't put it together. So, yeah, just kind of fortunate everything played out. Just, crazy day. Absolutely. On the family side, I lose my grandfather. When I first woke up, I heard that, and then I was, I was a mess. Didn't really know if I was going to race or not at first. And then my grandmother, I called my grandmother, and she told me I had to get myself together, and I had to race. So, yeah, just a good day on the racing side of things. Crazy day, emotional day. Just really proud of the whole group of guys and the whole team. My dad and Kevin Bates and Petey and Brucey and Dennis. We really been working hard, and there's probably 100 other guys that come around, and just proud of everybody.
Absolutely. Now, before I ask you about that, we have down here on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline here, the hustler here, Jackson says he's your biggest fan, so take
Oh,
that as you
I'm his
will.
biggest fan.
There it is. But I wanted to ask you about that. Obviously, we found out early in the morning your grandfather passed away. Unfortunately, we send our condolences to you and your family on that. And it's so weird in every form of motorsports. When something like that happens, it seems like there's a little extra in the car. You're driving a little bit harder. It seems like there's something else, a higher power almost that kind of helps you along that night. Because it seems like almost every time something like this happens that family member goes on to win that night. And obviously, no doubt in my mind, I think your grandfather had absolutely something to do with that win
Absolutely.
on Friday night. And it's so I think it's kind of a freaky thing in a way, like how it just
Absolutely.
kind of translate into into
A
the
good
racing
thing.
thing, like kind of you have the extra power to help you.
Yeah. No, I mean, he loved the racing. I mean, the past ever since I kind of started the whole sportsman thing, um, that was the one thing he looked forward to. Every week we were going to Big Diamond. Every week there on Friday, and I'd walk in on a Monday or Tuesday, and he's, "Oh, when are we racing? And when are we going to Diamond?" And so he loved the racing side, and just crazy. Kind of unbelievable. You're always gonna wish he was there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he would have been proud. It was just kind of a shock. I figured either I was going to go out and be good, and have him, kind of guide me, or I was going to be out there and be a mess and be about everywhere but victory lane. So, hopefully, or thankfully, it all worked out. So, that one was definitely for him. Just a tough couple of days, having to go through all the stuff that happens when somebody passes. So, just taking care of grandma. That's where I'm at now. And that's definitely most important right now.
Absolutely, families, everything in this world, and like Bert said, on behalf of the rest of the racing family, we definitely want to give out our condolences for your loss. Back to the racing side of things, it didn't take me as a surprise that you went down to Charlotte, but what was the ultimate factor that said, "Hey, let's go down and try our hats at the World Finals"?
Yeah. I remember it was 2017, the first time I was there. Right before I ran a couple sportsman races. We won a race at Pencan, the fourth time out. And Kevin Bates talked to me and my dad, and we're like, yeah, we'll go down and hang out, kind of soak it all in. And I remember he was like, yeah, heck, maybe if we do good, we'll do Charlotte. We'll get a big block or something. So, I laughed about it. I said, we're getting ready to leave. I said, you stole me a big block race at Charlotte. So, just crazy. I don't really know what to say. The whole deal was just crazy. Just right from the start. I think Charlotte's a tough deal. If you don't time trial, well, I think you're in big trouble quick. So that was actually I was watching a couple days before I left, Saturday or Sunday. There, I was watching just old Charlotte races all the way from. I think the first one was like 2008 or 2009. I watched all the way up. And it was cool to see some other guys, and some Kevin Bates now who's my crew chief, saw him race a little bit. And you see some guys that retired and legend of the sport. So just crazy. I think it was big to go out and get the pole there the first night. And then I think we were like fourth or fifth the second night, but we were still quick time in our group, which really that's all that mattered. So that was key. And to do that, I think that put us in the best spot possible.
It's for us guys down here, in the southern region of modified country, we're not used to the time trial aspect. Obviously, with, Super Dirt Car, that's what they normally do up there in the New York region. And you kind of float back and forth a little little bit between both, where you're located there, but you're more kind of one of our regional guys down here in the southern region.
Yeah.
What do you like better? Would you rather have the kind of the draw show that somebody like Deo does, or would you rather do the time trial stuff like Super Dark Cars?
Definitely time trials. The hardest part I think is at the end of the day, I always forget about it, to be completely honest. It's an entertainment industry. That's really all it is. And I'm just one of the clowns in the circus, really, going up on stage or whatever. So I understand why Deo does it. I understand completely. It puts on a race. The best start in the back, or sometimes they start on the pole, and then you got Joe Schmo up in the pole, and everything's all frazzled up and kind of a mess, and it keeps it interesting. But as a racer, it can kind of suck. But I understand, especially when you go to a track that's not that racy. It's kind of what you got to do sometimes. Which hey, I'm not a fan, but it's an entertainment. That's what the business is. So, but it could be really frustrating when you keep drowning last, and you gotta work your way up. Which hey, you gotta work for it either way. But if I go out and time trial bad, I could pin it on myself. Where if I just draw bad and not a whole lot of passing goes on, it's like, well, what else was I supposed to do?
Exactly.
That's the part where it's just kind of tricky. But no, I get it. I like time trials. I'm a fan of them. I definitely rather time trials. But I understand why Deo does what he does. It's entertainment.
So this weekend down in Charlotte, we saw pretty much two completely different racetracks. Friday night was kind of wet and heavy because of all that rain and the moisture that was still in the track from the soaking rains on Thursday. And then Saturday, it dried out really quick, but the racing was still good. You were quick time both nights, and in your group, quick time overall on Friday night.
Yep.
Take us through the difference between the two tracks, because I mean, obviously you won Friday night, and then Saturday night you finished inside the top 10. I think you started eighth and ended up like fourth or fifth, somewhere in that neck of the woods. But you were still very competitive each night you went down there. What kind of differences did you personally see in the racetrack between Friday to Saturday?
It was. I think it had more to do with the weather than anything. Um, Supposedly, I'm not really much of a weatherman, but supposedly they were saying there's a little bit of rain, around like 11, 12 Saturday night. So they moved it up 2 hours. So instead of having hot laps at 3 o'clock, we had it at 1 o'clock. And then, my as a racer, daytime racing sucks, and I think everybody can kind of agree with that. But that's kind of what they had to do. So, but it was really unfortunate because the rain later on in the day, it wasn't even forecasted until 4 in the morning. But the World Racing Group's got to do what they got to do, and I'm sure I'm no businessman when it comes to that aspect of it, but I'm sure it would have cost them a lot more money if they had to do something on Sunday. So they just kind of played the safe card, which is understandable. So we went out Friday. I mean, the track was a blast all night. It was can't really ask for much better than that. That was one of the best tracks I raced on all year. And then I think Saturday night would have been cool too if we didn't have to start a little bit earlier. We get out there. I mean, time trials. I was like, man, that was horrible. And then I looked, we were quick time. I was like, oh, there we go. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of the result of the sun, I think, and racing early. I mean, in the heat races, it had rubber. I mean, I haven't ran that many heat races in the rubber. I can tell you that. So, I think you just had to do it running a little bit in the sun earlier. Not as good Saturday, I don't think, but you can't always have a perfect racetrack every night. And obviously, I'm gonna think Friday is better. But
Well,
so yeah, no,
obviously.
it was. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, folks, if you're just joining us here, Alex Yankowski joined us here on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline. Picked up the win on Friday night down at Charlotte, the NGK NTK World Finals. And let's get back into your career here a little bit, because you're only what, 17, 18, I think, right now, and
Yep, 17.
17, and your modified career is absolutely taken off. I mean, you are one of the most talked about kids, I think, in dirt track, right, in Northeast modified racing. How do we get to this point? Where did you start at in racing, and how do we get to this point right here?
Oh, a lot of people. A lot of people, a lot of travel, a lot of mistakes. Definitely a lot of mistakes. I started off when I was 4 years old in a go kart at Snydersville. And then we ran slingshots for a little while there, at Hamlin and Action Track and Shellhammers and kind of all over. They had a little tour going, so that was cool. We always enjoyed that. But then in the wintertime, when I was probably about 8 years old, I started racing go karts on road courses down south, like Florida. I raced at that GoPro in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Homestead Miami Speedway is a go kart track that's really been taking off here lately. West Palm Beach and Ocala, Florida, and Jacksonville. I raced in Louisiana one time, actually, New Orleans. But you'll have to ask Strunky one day about Jacksonville. He raced there. That was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, just a lot of racing, a lot of people, a lot of great people along the way that helped me out. And we just worked hard. I was really early on. I didn't really have a ton of success, and I've always kind of been the younger one. So whenever I get old here, it'll probably be a little bit weird. So just a lot of people, a lot of good people. Never forget them. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. And at this point, I mean, you're technically a veteran on the Pennsylvania and New Jersey modified circuit, but also technically still a young gun. You're getting that valuable seat time wherever you go, and so what comes next for you? Are you gonna still do like the local PA stuff? Or are you thinking about maybe potentially down the road doing the Super DIRTcar Series or following the full Deo shows? Or
Yeah. I don't really know. That's $1 million question. If you ask me, my dad and Batesy there, I think it'll about change every time you ask me. Not really sure exactly what we want to do. I think we want to race on the slick a little bit more, just travel a little bit more. And I got a lot of great product sponsors. That's for sure. Which helps out financially. I mean, we own all of our own stuff, which makes it hard. We got some good supporters. Like guys like Rich Stankwitz. Rich is the man. He's been helping me out this year a lot. And really, if we can get some more funding, I think we could travel a little bit more and hopefully get a little bit better. We've probably been doing a little bit too much racing, to be honest. So that's where it comes down to me. Just got to get some partners going. That's for sure. And hopefully that'll help me get a little bit better, being able to race a little bit more.
Absolutely. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this. So last year I met you for the first time at Bridgeport, and
Oh, yeah.
I have to ask you about that last lap wreck. I didn't get a chance to ask you about last year because we weren't doing interviews yet for things. But if you're gonna win, the saying always goes, "If you don't win, be spectacular." But you won and were spectacular in that wreck. I mean, that was one of the strangest, awesomest wrecks I've ever seen in my life there. But still, I mean, that race itself there, that's when I think you realize that you are going to be something special in this modified side things here for how that race panned out, and also to win it for the pimp too, or the pimp's first race, because of how much Danny Serrano meant to this area and how much he loved the young guns too. And I just think it was
Yeah.
such a fitting way for you guys for somebody like you to win that race and in Danny's memory, but then also go out and be spectacular the way you were at the end.
Yeah, actually, Danny was the one that got me cleared to race in the state of New Jersey right before he passed. We were
Really?
actually the papers. It was verbally agreed to that I was good, but we never got the paper signed. And then so when Danny passed, we were like, oh, we got to talk to him, and so it was like he was the one that got me cleared to race in the state of Jersey. He was harping on him pretty good. Him and Doug were really trying to get me to go to Bridgeport. And we told them we can't legally,
Yeah.
So, it was an awesome race. It's still probably one of my better races. Um, and like again, it just all comes back to a group of guys and good chemistry between me and Beatty, and having my dad really really support us and do everything that he could. But that last lap there, I was so far in lap traffic that obviously they weren't waving the checkered flag 3 cars in front of me, and the way the flagger stand is, you kind of got to like look up and put your head down. So I didn't see the checkered, so I was like, all right, kept going. I thought I got 2 whites, but I was like, man, that's 10 grand. So kept on going, and then somebody spun out, and then they were scrambling, and then I was just trying to gas out of it. I'm like, man, I got to win this race, and then I came up, and me and another car hooked together a lap car, and then I got shot in the fence, and it was just that was kind of that. So Actually, everyone thinks the car was junk. They ran it this year a lot. It
Really?
didn't really end up. Yeah, oh yeah, it wasn't bad at all. It was mostly body damage and a front axle being split, so the whole thing looked junk. Jeff Strunk's dad fixed it, and it was under $8,000 to fix the frame.
That's it?
All the body panels, the most of them were crashed up, which heck, I needed a new body anyway. So I started taking it off,
Yeah.
and we put it in front of the grandstands. And I got like $1,700 cash the next day just selling off body panel. They got to the point where I was like, man, I got to start selling the straight ones too. We're making more money, So we just kept stripping
Oh
it,
yeah.
stripping it, and stripping it. And I was still away in the green. Everyone thinks it was junk. It was just a front axle beam and a little bit of body and a couple shock towers, and that was it. So yeah.
No.
Yeah, Bert, you would
Wow.
be surprised on the amount of shit these modified frames can
No,
take.
I mean, if you look at this thing, like I still remember as clear as day when I went over and
Oh
looked at
yeah.
it. I'm like, you won 10 grand, just spend 10 grand, and I mean that's incredible. And you ran that car this year. Holy shit, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a good night.
yeah, like I said,
Oh.
you'd be surprised with how much bullshit these frames can take. I mean, bodies, God, they crinkle and crumble like no tomorrow.
Yeah,
God, I'm
patch 'em up, hammer them and patch
so
'em.
tired of doing patchwork and freaking beating out bodies, but
It was funny. We were walking through the pits on Saturday night at Bridgeport there, and I think it was one of Stengel's crew. They had a sledgehammer out trying to straighten out a body. I'm like, well, that's gonna be a fun time. That looks like a lot of fun right there.
Yeah.
But
I've
so
Yeah, Brucey, our guy Brucey takes care of it. I mean, he's the man. Body panels. We wrecked this door up at Fonda on restart. I mean, it was just smashed right up, and it was like wrinkled up. It was like an accordion. That was the worst part. So I'm like, that's junk, right? I show up the next day to the shop. Brucey's got it straight on the car. I was like, Bruce, how'd you do that? No, he's the man.
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
we've had quite a few of them with Colt too, except we have the nice thing at the race shop. Well, when we raced, that he busted it up, he fixed it. So when the bodies looked like it, when the bodies looking like an accordion, I wasn't fixing it. I was just doing my tires.
That's fantastic. Hey, so while we still got you here, Alex, New York and Pennsylvania. I know there's two distinct things, or two different tracks, style of tracks, I should say. New York's a little more slick. PA, you can get whatever depending on what Mother Nature does. Mother Nature on Friday night loves to rain. Obviously, a big diamond where we see you most of the time. Where do we prefer to race? Do we like New York? Do we like the PA tracks, or they have their own little things that you like about each?
Oh, I like the slick, and the more I race, my definition of slick definitely changes. I remember Port Royal last year. I'm like, man, that was slick. And I remember talking to the store freezing about him. We were somewhere after Port Royal. I don't remember where. And I said, man, that was slick. He goes, that was medium grip. I was like, nah, absolutely not. There's no way. And then once I started racing a little bit more, I was like, yeah, that was medium grip. So no, I like the slick stuff. Kind of brings out the driver and the setup side of it, which I enjoy. I think that's a cool thing between the driver and the setup stuff right now. Just keep on working at it with the whole coil deal. Everything's changed rapidly, and right when I got into it, I mean, everyone switched to left side panhard bars here the past few years, and I don't know if I ran 10 races with a right side panhard. I just never really did. I started off with the left side really, and then we came out swinging with the Sportsman. So I'm different than most people when it comes to that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I miss right side panhards. I don't know why. I just don't get me wrong. The coils and the left side panhards are a lot of fun to watch, just by how the car reacts. But man, give me a good slick track and a right side panhard, and I will watch that shit for days.
It's a different kind of finesse for sure. It's different, and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
probably never ever get to really experience it or try and match, which I'm
Oh,
happy. I like the coil.
I'm sure we'll transition back to right side panhards
Oh, everyone.
with torsion bars, because it seems like for 5 or 6 years we'll run coils, and then someone gets their brilliant idea, then we're gonna reinvent the wheel, and we'll be back to torsions. It's the stupidest thing on how modified people do it, but who am I?
Modified
Pouch
people
Junior
are
still got the bars going pretty good. I told him bars are for drinking, even though I'm not 21.
Atta
That's
boy. Atta
that's
boy.
that's
That's why
from
we.
time to time. I gotta give him
Oh,
credit
that's
for
why
that
we
one.
love you, buddy. That's fantastic. Oh my God. Hey, so before we let you go, I want one more question here. Obviously, as I said before, you're part of this kind of new generation of modified guys coming up here. Do we see you pulling something like another young hot shoe in the modified side of things over to the sprint car like Brig Tanner? Could we see you maybe in the sprint car at some point? Is there any aspiration maybe to do that at some point?
Anything's possible. Everything changes with a phone call real quick. That's for sure. Briggs,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. He really seemed to find his way there with the sprint car deal, which is good for him. We race speedsters together up at Action Tracks, so Briggs is definitely on the wheel. He's getting a lot of publicity, which is good. And a good person. It's hard to find good people. So it
Mhm.
wouldn't surprise me if you saw somebody like Tanner Von Dorn or something like that. He kind of the same way as Briggs or me. We bounce around a lot, so anything's possible. One phone call, I think you start looking at everything a lot different.
Absolutely. And I think between you, Briggs, Tanner, and a couple other kids that are coming up here, the sport's in good hands. We are going to be in for a lot of fun in the next couple of years. You guys are the next generation, and hands, buddy. I appreciate you coming on and join us here tonight. Who do you got to thank for your win down at Charlotte and helping you get up and down the road the rest of the season here?
Oh, I mean, it just comes back to the boys in the shop. They know who they are, and we're all like family. Especially the past couple of days, they were there the whole time. So, I think that's the biggest thing is just having good people. That I think that's just life. It's not racing. That's everything. So hopefully I could meet new people and new opportunities and just keep on trucking.
Absolutely, but I think you opened up a hell of a big door here for you on Friday night. Congratulations again on the win, buddy. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again at some point next year here. Good luck the rest of the year, whatever you guys do. If not, we'll see you next year, 2022.
Wait, sound good, boys. Thank you.
Alex. There he goes, Alex Yankowski on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline. And that was a great interview. Boy, I tell you what, it's hard to find, I think, basically, young guys, especially at the age of 17, show the maturity that he has and the talent that he had shown the last couple of years here. And man alive, is he one of the bright spots coming up here for not only racing in general but modified racing in the Northeast. I think it's fantastic what we're gonna have here in the next couple of years here, Adam.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the sport's definitely in great hands. Maybe Alex shouldn't tell his secrets so much about go-kart racing all over the place. 'Cause
Well,
it's,
no, I think no,
I
I
mean,
see. I don't.
to me,
I think that's
like
okay.
well, yeah, that's great promotion for everything. But I also think that maybe, just maybe, he has a lot of talent to begin with, but
Yes.
you finesse yourself into the world of road racing go-karts. I
Well,
mean,
you gotta start. You gotta start somewhere, and we'll
oh
look at a
yeah,
lot of. We'll look at the guys in, let's say Formula One and that stuff. Like, if you ever watch how
Formula
they got
Une.
started, Formula One, like they all got started in go karts, road racing go karts. Like that's where they all got
Oh
started.
yeah.
You got to start somewhere, and I think that's a hell of a place to start, especially to go
Oh
from that
definitely.
to dirt track racing. I think it's fantastic.
Oh definitely. I mean that's definitely one of the bright spots slash the learning curves. I mean,
Yeah.
what's gonna prepare you to go race on dirt? Drive around on a roval somewhere at 110 miles an hour, this close off the ground. I mean, you're gonna figure
Yeah.
it out real quick.
I think so, and I think it learns to handle a little finesse, a little bit of what you need to feel in the car, and I think it's awesome, and I think that's going to help him out a lot, and I think we're going to have a lot of conversations out down the road here. So, all right, folks, we're going to take our first commercial break of the evening here. As you see, we have 34 Motorsports Ticker down below. Once again, thanks to Alex Yankowski joining us on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline. We'll take our first commercial break, and we'll get back here with Adam's weekend down in Charlotte. So stay tuned. You're watching the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network. Burt Wojcik, Adam Rubright, executive producer Chris Graham, and let's get into it, boys. As said before the break, 34 Motorsports Ticker got all your results for the past weekend here, and let's get into Charlotte. And obviously, we'll start off on the modified side of things, where we just had our guest, Alex Yankowski, picked up his first career Super DIRTcar Series win Friday night, and a very, very good race. Got to watch that. Went back to the camper at their Friday night at Bridgeport, and he ran down Larry Wright. I didn't think it was going to happen, Adam. I didn't think it was.
Me either. Set up at the grandstands, I mean, obviously I'm going to watch the PA guys. I was watching him and Mikey Goulart awfully close. But sitting up in the grandstands, you're thinking to yourself when that caution came out with, 10 to go? Something like 10, 15 to go. You're thinking to yourself, he started fairly. Did he use up his tires to get to where he is now?
Yeah.
Sure enough, he kind of just caught lightning in a bottle. Because he wasn't like picking off 2 or 3 cars a lap to get from where he started to second before that restart. He was very methodical about how he approached things. He'd eye it up, he'd get into the corner, didn't push the issue, didn't push the envelope, but made the passes where he knew he could make the passes. And when he got Larry coming out of 2, I mean, he came into the bottom, snuck up to the top, got that run off the high side down the backstretch, and blew by Larry like he was sitting still. But
yeah,
you think to yourself, how much tire did Larry use because he didn't know where anybody else was behind him? But in the same aspect, I'm sure Alex was wondering the same thing. He's like, how much tires do I have left? Granted, it was a heavy track, heavier because of all the rain on Thursday, but
right.
It was an excellent race. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all 3 features. I wish, our boys at Shark Racing would have won, but good old tire gremlins snuck in again. Hopefully,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, hopefully he can pick one off this weekend at Baps. That'd be pretty
Well,
wild.
yep, they are coming up to Baps this weekend, so we'll get in that here in just a few minutes. But yeah, let's switch over to the World of Outlaw side of things here because yeah, Locust you pretty much had that feature in the bag, and
Both of
tires,
them.
man, they are
Both of them.
both of them. Yeah, I mean we'll talk about both of them here. Obviously, by taking time on Friday, Brad Sweet clinched the chip, so good on Brad. But yeah, so Logan, they have no luck. And
No.
that absolutely broke my heart seeing that, he's leading and then all of a sudden, like, what the hell? What the hell? But when you have a guy that can capitalize like David Gravel and for how good he is at Charlotte, David Gravel has basically owned Charlotte the last
Yeah.
couple of years. And,
Yeah, like make the mortgage payment out to David
basically,
Gravel. It's
basically.
ridiculous with how good he is there. One of these years, I wish he can get to Charlotte within striking distance of Brad Sweet.
It
Like
would
2
be
years
fun.
ago, 2 years ago, how it was the Gravel Sweet Shoehart kind of
Shot.
thing, and whoever came out on top was the champion. I
Yeah.
wish.
Or
I mean,
Brad beat
obviously, I
Johnny
hope.
by one position.
Yeah, like I hope to God, like we get that again next year, because
Mhm.
I think in all three divisions. Because to be honest with you, I thought the racing was great, but there
Mhm.
wasn't like the hype behind it as there
Yeah.
was in years past. Because all the points championships were already wrapped up well before we even got to Charlotte. Like
Mhm.
going into Charlotte, I think we talked about this last week. Going into Charlotte, I want like a dogfight between the top three or top four.
Yeah. That's the way that if you want to set up your game 7 moment like we talked about in NASCAR side of things, which we will get into here in a few minutes.
Which
That's where you do the playoff site. That's where you do the whole playoff scenario. But I mean,
which
Travis
really
is on their level
surprised
this
me
year.
because I'm sure you saw my Snapchats from down there.
Mhm.
Johnny Gibson and Shane Andrews and Eshelman kept talking about, oh, and we thank you so very much for selling out the grandstands at Charlotte. Yeah, they might have been sold out, but there wasn't asses in every single one of those seats like there was years past. There just wasn't. I mean, and it
I
was
think
a
that's going to
great
be the
crowd. It was an exceptional crowd, but it
yeah.
wasn't the Charlotte crowd like we're so used to. Like we
Yeah.
still had the drunk idiots behind us that were screaming "Let's go, Brandon" the entire time, which was an
Nice.
absolute blast. But you know, the seats off to our right, wide
Mhm.
open. Like I was worried
Okay.
about when I sold all five, or when I sold 5 of my 8 seats. That man, what am I gonna do with my cooler now? Well, nobody showed up next to our seats, so insert cooler.
Okay, can I ask a question here?
Go
Yes.
ahead.
Does it matter?
No,
Did you have
If
no,
did
every
you
absolutely
have
not.
ticket
World
is
complaints?
Racing Group
sold,
made
what does it matter?
World Racing Group made their thing.
Yes, I did. And let's dive back here now to the actual race in itself because then we'll switch over to Saturday night. We'll say the late models for
Superman
last because I feel
did super late or Superman types of things.
yeah,
I
Superman
mean,
sweeps the weekend. Jonathan
we don't need to,
Davenport
yeah, don't even need to
goes
talk
out,
about that
sweeps the
anymore.
weekend. Brendan Shepard dominate. I look at and when I was doing the ticker last night, doing that, I would notice the points there for late models. Chris Madden was 200, was the only one inside of 400 points behind Brandon Shepard.
Yeah,
Like that's how
like
badly Shepard kicked the shit out
see
of
ya.
everybody this year. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean
yeah,
that
no,
that title was wrapped up like 3 months ago.
basically, yeah. But no, Davenport goes out, sweeps the weekend. Two good races. Late models are always, I think, the show down there at Charlotte. I think they're the best division. Modifieds are definitely close second. And then the sprint car side of things. But on the sprint car side of things, Saturday night, we got to see the posse pick up a win down there. Brent Marks and the brand new Murray Marks Motorsports. Number 19 picks up the win at Charlotte. His second World of Outlaw win of the season. Actually, second or third? because Summer Nationals for sure. Somebody in the comments, let me know if that's his second or third win of the year for Brent Marks on the Outlaws. Because I kind of think he didn't win one of the Kings Royal weekend, did he? I don't think he did. Or
No.
something Eldora. No, okay. So no, that'd be his second World of Outlaws win of the season. But hey, you know what? Marks is rolling right now, and you know what? He might be my pick for Saturday down Baps, honestly, because of how good he's rolling.
Yeah, and he's had a really good car this year at Babs. I mean, he's always technically had a good car at Babs. He's just never had any luck. But the luck seems to be on his side, so it's a very strong possibility we'll be talking to him in Victory Lane afterwards.
I think so. But yeah, Brent Marks picks up the win, and so good on him. As we said, Brad Sweet clinches the championship, and then I think one of my favorite stories on Saturday night when I read this after we were done down in Bridgeport, the corporate jet gets in victory lane again for win number 920. Oh my! You know what? Hate him or love him, that's a good story to round out Charlotte with. Brett Hearn picking up the win down at Charlotte. Oh, I tell you what, I love that. What was that his first win, I believe, in 3 years?
Since Charlotte in 2018, yeah.
And that was a great race. That was a great race too. I remember that race.
It was a good race Saturday. But with how the track was with the day race and the wind, because it was awfully windy down there all day. You know, the sun really wasn't out, but it was kind of out, and it was a clusterfuck. But racing wise, for how slick the track was, he started on the pole. Is what it is. He time trialed good. He won his heat race. Drawed good. Obviously, well, Drew good.
Drew the one both nights.
Yeah, drew the one both nights, but was able to keep it up front on the Saturday, which is really nice to see. You know, for a guy who has that much history behind a modified in a modified world, really, it was nice to see him get number 920 because, I mean, with Friesen doing the NASCAR side of things and Shepard mainly going for championships over wins, really, I mean, that are we ever going to see anyone get to that mark again?
Career wise, maybe overall career wise, maybe, but I don't think Super DIRTcar Series wise. No.
Yeah.
Did you know this is Shepard's 8th championship?
Yeah.
Like, I feel kind of old, honestly. To be honest with you, that's
8 championships, which is technically catching up to Hearn.
It is.
But but it's weird because Hearn won a lot of championships back in the day, but didn't necessarily win a lot of Super DIRTcar championships because you could win back in the day and you can win a championship back in the day and it wouldn't count as a technical Super DIRTcar championship.
Right.
I don't think they started
DIRTcar title.
Yeah, I don't think they started doing the DIRTcar championship till 89, something like that. I mean, before I was born, obviously, but I believe the date for that was 89. I think.
So,
according to from what I read up on his post the other night.
Yeah, I remember that post. I know which one you're talking about, but yeah. So, congrats to Brett Hearn on the win. What a story! And yeah, so World of Outlaw season that is done now. We'll see him back at Volusia come in February. So we'll can't wait for that as well. And glad to hear you had a good weekend down in Charlotte. But it seemed like you had some. I know it was a little bit chilly Thursday. You got rained out, but I remember getting all the Snapchats from everybody of you over at Iron Thunder with the boys, and
it wasn't that cold, Bert. It was cold, but it wasn't that cold because whiskey helps.
Atta boy. Oh, now the show goes downhill. All right. You want to get into Bridgeport? Let's get into some Bridgeport action.
Let's get into Bridgeport. I wasn't there, but I will gladly sit here and listen to you talk about it.
Absolutely. So Friday night we went down there for the first night for a little bit of practice for URC, and then saw an awesome USAC East Coast feature. Briggs Danner and Alex Bright once again, as usual, class of the field, throwing haymakers at each other. Briggs Danner comes out with the win, but Alex Bright wins the championship. So good on both of them. And then Saturday night, we move over to side of things here for the URC, which Anthony Macri surprised me a little bit. I thought they would have took the 39 down to Charlotte. They didn't. They instead took the Dyson 20 out to Bridgeport and come out with a win. And there was a number of 410 guys there. I was surprised on how many got there. You had Tyler Ross, who picked up the a win earlier in the year down at Georgetown. You had Lucas Wolf show up there, who normally shows up their first weekend for Bridgeport. Who else was down there from the 410 side of things? Macri, and then also Dylan Sisney showed up in the Lilic 7. That kind of shocked me a little bit that he was there, and also Devin Borden. So you had about 5 or 6 410 guys show up, and you have a 410 guy go out and win it in a very dominant fashion. Honestly, Bridgeport, the place is racing great, man. I mean, this is I love this place so much. I mean, it gets up on the you get the thing up on the fence, up on the wall. It's incredible. You can get some massive sliders. Ryan Smith, he was the other one that was down there as well. Uh, Briggs were throwing haymakers at each other. Derek Locke, I mean, he had a nice battle with Ryan for a while. There's a lot of great racing taking place out of Bridgeport, but Anthony Macri goes out, takes a win number 13 on the year.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, a lot of people were saying Macri was good, but they weren't sure how good he is. Well, 13 wins in 2 different divisions is pretty impressive. Curious to see what his plans are next year, because we all know Baston's gonna do outlaw stuff. I'm curious to see how this offseason kind of shakes out.
There's gonna be a lot of talk in the off season here, but yeah. So good on Macri. And then on Sunday, the final day of the High Banks Classic, it was Ryan Godown picking up the modified win. Very good race. Godown dominated Bridgeport pretty much the entire year, and then he goes out last night and picks up the win down at Boot Hill to open up the Cajun swing.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it. I fell asleep mighty early last night. But I really like what Deo's doing with this Cajun swing type of deal. Because don't they also have like a Deo series throughout the year down there?
Region, yep. Cajun region, yep.
Yeah, but it's weird because I didn't really hear much about the Cajun region this season.
It was kind of I think they only did like maybe 7 or 8 races. Like it was just still trying to get this thing built up off the ground. So
yeah,
I think it's a good thing. I think it's great to see the Northeast Modifieds move south and maybe build up. And Deo's going to do it. I honestly think Brett's going to do it right, build it up, and get it to where it can be big enough to possibly rival something down south and have another division, so that they can make it a 10 division show instead of just a 9 division show in the southern states. But I am excited for tomorrow night down at the Rev, because the Rev was probably the best World of Outlaw races this year. So, and I both sides, I think, with between the actually no, late models didn't get down there this year. No, they did not. They got rained out. But I am excited to see what they do at the Rev, because that place is a badass. And we remember all the way back, I think it was March, that awesome sprint car race they had down there with the World of Outlaws. So I'm excited to see what that place does. I think tomorrow night, I think they're at the Rev.
I believe so. But speaking of the World of Outlaws late model series, they're going to Bloomsburg next year.
Yes, sir. That was just announced today. World of Outlaw Morton Building late models going up to the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds Speedway. Looking forward to that. I think that's I think they're gonna have a good year at Bloomsburg. Hopefully they get the Mother Nature to go with them. I really looking forward to seeing some good racing up there. I mean, the racing was great there all year long, I thought. And I think they're just gonna build and improve on it. But yes, that was kind of the first big news today, that the Outlaws are going up to Bloomsburg, and that's actually was it. I think I saw the weekend. It's the weekend after the Morgan Cup, I think.
Yeah, I think it's May 19th.
Yeah, so that they're going to do that. Night they're going to Erie's or Thunder Mountain, one of the two, and then Saturday night Port Royal. So kind of fits in all nice and tucked in there in a nice little region for those guys. So that'll be a lot of fun. What else do we have here before we went to get into NASCAR stuff? I don't think I got anything else on the dirt side of things. You got anything? Oh, by the way, let's before can we talk about Thursday night at Paris?
Oh, that finish? Oh
That
my
finish. Can
God.
we talk about that first?
That was excellent. What was like 0.004 seconds?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Jake Swanson going out getting his first USAC win. Dallas, how you doing there, buddy? Good to
Hey
see
girl,
you there.
hey.
And, hey girl, hey. Yeah, that was awesome. That was fun to watch. Well worth staying up for on Thursday night to watch that down there at Paris Auto Speedway, and good weekend. That's going to come down to two races this weekend at Western World at Arizona Speedway for Kevin Thomas Jr. and Brady Bacon. Brady Bacon, I believe, leads the points right now in USAC, so Bacon has a chance to clinch that up. So it'll be them and the USAC midgets. And then also it was announced this week that Larson and Chase Elliott will be running the Hangtown 100 next weekend, and Elliott is making a sprint car debut next week in California at Merced.
Yeah, I'm awfully interested to see how that goes. But
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned his name, and it's a good thing you're sitting down.
Hold
Okay.
up. Hold up.
Yeah.
Before you get to the GOAT,
No.
piece of dirt
Hold up.
news.
Hold on.
Okay.
No, what's the dirt news?
How about Briggs Danner running the Chili Bowl as
I
a
did see
teammate
that.
to J.J. Yeley?
I'm
that's
so
pretty
proud
impressive.
of this kid, man.
That
I
kid
tell you,
is going into some badass equipment down there.
Yeah.
Briggs is going to be fun. I am. As soon as the news came out, I texted him I'm so excited for him. He's going to be I think that it's going to be a good learning experience for him. I think he's going to have some fun with it. I hope he does well. I really do. And that you're right, Chris. That JJ Yelly stuff, that is some good shit. It ain't no slouch.
Definitely not.
No.
But
So good on you, bud. Can't wait to see you do at the Chili Bowl. All right. Let's get into
you're
it.
sitting, the both of you are sitting down. Because I know we had this argument quite a few weeks ago. But I'm going to call Larson the GOATG. Greatest of this generation. And that's saying a lot for me because you couldn't get me to say that before.
Okay.
So for right now, I'm changing that's where we're at.
Without a doubt, he's the greatest of our generation. Without a doubt. I think so. I think that's agreeable. Now, where you want to say he's a GOAT yet or not, I still think there's a good debate. I'm starting to think
let's
that
have that conversation in a couple years.
A couple years down the road. Yeah, let's see what he does. Can he
Best-
win in the 500?
best, most-
Does he go run Indy? That's I think
Best,
the other thing.
most
Does he run Indy?
versatile driver
I
you're
would
ever going to
say
find
very
right now.
good versatility. Not great yet.
It's definitely one of the best across forms.
If you want to talk the GOAT, you cannot pass AJ or Mario until you've been successful in stock cars, open wheel cars, sports cars, on the dirt. Those guys ran it all. Right now, Larson is really the only guy with the balls to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he still hasn't run the open wheel stuff. He does have a Rolex 24 win. Okay. Maybe I think he needs to get to Le Mans at some point.
Yep.
But
I really want to see him
of this
F1.
generation, the GOAT.
Yeah, I think
I want to see him F1. I want to see him do sports car stuff. Like, there's no better time than the present. The kid is fucking hot. There's no denying that.
And
but
well, here's the thing.
Will his success?
You mentioned it there, Adam. You mentioned it there. The kid, he's still young.
Yeah, he's still incredibly young, and what he's able to accomplish is nothing short of incredible. I mean, just this year alone, Kings Royal, Knoxville Nationals, Chili Bowl. what, 10, 11 NASCAR wins?
10 wins.
10 NASCAR wins. Wins in with the World of Outlaws, wins in dirt late model side of things.
Don't forget Fairbury, the Prairie 100.
Yeah.
That's a crown jewel.
Yeah. What he's doing is nothing short of spectacular. But to go along with Chris here, let's see what he does when he gets to, say, F1, the sports car stuff, so on and so forth.
The only
Right now,
way
I think
Kyle
he's the
Larson
best.
goes to F1 is if he gets hooked up with Zach Brown somehow. Because
would you consider that out of the
F1
possibility?
doesn't, yes. And the reason I say that is F1 is very tightly controlled in the number of drivers that can be used.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would have to be named as some F1 team's reserve driver to even be able to get in the car. And then he has to test for X number of miles, and it's a huge deal to get into an F1 seat. I don't see that happening unless Zach Brown starts throwing insane money around.
It's going to take a lot of money to do that.
Just to buy out Rick Hendrick.
That's going to take a lot of money, and I don't.
Here's the thing, though. Could we possibly see him do the Indy 500 stuff?
Yes.
I'm very curious to see how he would do in Indy 500 wise, to be honest with you.
I could see him being the next driver to try and do the double.
Like Stewart and so on and so forth years past.
Stewart,
Yeah, I can totally see him
Gordon,
doing it.
I think now that he has a Cup championship, it gives him a lot of leverage. It will not be this year.
Yeah.
But I can envision a scenario where Kyle Larson says, I'm not running Charlotte. I'm going to Indy, and I'm running Indy. That's it.
I mean, the ball is definitely in his court, metaphorically. I mean, Mr. Hendrick knew what he was getting himself into when he brought Kyle Larson in. He knew the dirt side of things, obviously. He knows the aspirations to do other things.
Mm-hmm.
How far is Mr. Hendrick willing to let that go?
Well, folks, for you guys watching, let's throw this question out to the people here real quick. Where does Kyle Larson rank in your? Is he the GOAT or just the greatest of our generation? Put that down in the comments below, folks.
Everybody. That's a dumb question.
Anyway,
everybody that's a Kyle Larson fan is be like, he's the greatest of all time.
And does he run the Indy 500? Will he run the Indy 500? That's
within the next 5 years. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Anyway, but I want to put this out there too. Can we talk about his pit crew? Can we talk about that pit stop on Sunday? Holy shit, did they delivered when they needed to? Wow.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
That pit stop looked like that little dude from Cars.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Luigi.
like in and out, good to go.
Our IndyCar writer Ben Carswell made a very astute observation on Twitter. That was the last pit stop as we know it.
Yes.
Next year they go to the single lug hub and all that kind of stuff. That changes the way we do things entirely. The last chance for these guys to be absolute rock stars. And they
fucking nailed it.
Yes, they nailed it. That was probably, I mean, what was it? I think the second fastest pit stop either of the year or that the 5 team had all year. And they came out when they needed it. Was it was fantastic. It really was. And I mean, I harped on it bad last week about how much I hate this playoff system and how much I hate this Game 7 format. But it made it exciting. It made me tune in. It made me watch the race, even though, I mean, well, then again, I also was pissed off at the Birds game on Sunday because that was just a snooze fest itself. But
that's your own fault.
I was back out. I know, thank you. Go Birds. Anyway, but yeah, it was that was incredible, that pit stop. I mean, when you talk about that, or yeah, the driver's a lot of it. Larson doesn't win the championship without his team, man. He doesn't.
No, you gotta have a good crew behind you.
Yeah.
Especially pit stops when it comes to shit like that. Like you gotta.
Yeah, I agree there. And I said I was gonna say this too. I was talking to a friend of mine on Sunday night, and I said, Larson doesn't. There. I think there's a lot of people out. What would he do by doing so much racing on top of it? But here's the thing: Larson comes back and can win on Sunday after winning on Saturday night, getting in it at the ass crack of dawn on Saturday night, Sunday, wherever the hell they were at, and go win the damn race. Not many people can do that. I don't think many can. And Kyle
No.
Larson can. Like that's where I think that puts him in another status is that, to go, let's say, middle of summer, all right? Just for example, middle of summer, you come in, let's say Speed Week, all right? I'm just throwing this out here. This wasn't what really happened, but I'm just throwing out an example here. Speed Week, hot as shit. You go out, goes win, say Port Royal, something like that. Then you go out the next night and you win, or next day and you win or whatever. Not many people can do that. I mean, I'm just saying in general too. Like even what he did at with Fairbury, win the Prairie Dirt Classic, and then come back and I forget where he finished the next day. I think he actually won the next day after Fairbury. But still, I mean, that was a late ass night. I mean, there's not many people that can do that, that have that energy to do that. And I hope he has that for a long time because I think that, and by the I don't know what people saw on Twitter, the Bob review that he did today. And I absolutely, oh my God, that pissed me off to no end at the end. That like, he trying to put Larson out as, oh yeah, I'm better than you guys. I got a cup ring right now. And Larson's like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's like, don't talk down to dirt people. Like he was saying about how, oh, are you still one of the dirt guys? Yeah, Larson was without a doubt. Kyle Larson is. He's not. He doesn't think that he is better than anyone. At least from my time of the amount of time I've gotten to interview him, and you see how many people wait or for autographs and whatever afterwards. He will sign every autograph that he can. He will stay there and talk a little bit. Like, I mean, he's humble. He doesn't think he's better than anyone else or anything else. And that is so refreshing in this sport. And I hate that Barack has put him out there like that and hung him out to dry. But Larson said, no, I'm not going to do that.
So, over under on how long before Kyle Larson starts his own sprint car team version 2?
Why would he? If you can run Paul Silva equipment whenever the hell you feel like, basically.
I'm not saying for him to run. I'm saying for him to do
like
the
own their World
upcoming
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It brings an interesting question to the forefront. What is his deal with Hendrick structured like? If you remember, when he signed the deal with Hendrick, that was poison pill to Rick Hendrick. So that deal may be structured very heavily on the Hendrick side, where paying a little less, maybe the cut's a little more of wins or something like that. So he's not hurting for money, but it may not be that, $4, $6, $8 million a year deal that guys like Harvick have.
Or what he had with Ganassi, for to make Larson Marks Racing. Back in the
Plus, if I'm not, no, never mind. Because he signed with Hendrick this year.
I say probably next contract, there'll probably be a good chance Larson may get in our sprint car team, put it on the road.
But here's
I'm
the
not saying
thing.
he's not going to go.
Here's the thing. Now that I like legitimately think about it, right around the time he said he was joining Hendrick Motorsports was also right around the time when the 2-car kind of went.
The 2-car was, I think, announced to
Or
go
no,
away at
I'm
the.
wrong. Never mind. It went that the 2-car's been gone for like almost 2 years now.
No, 2-car went away at the end of last year because Macedo was still in it.
Was it? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this was Macedo's first year. So
it was
now that I
Macedo's
think
first
about
year.
it,
Yep, because Macedo, because that was still Larson Marks Racing at the start of 2020 when Macedo won the Grove opener.
oh yeah, shit, that's right. Fucking COVID,
Yeah,
man. That has
they
everything
fucked
all
everything up.
fucked up.
Oh boy, but yeah, no.
But
I'd say probably next contract. There's a good chance Larson might start up his own team again. I feel that. I think that's a good conversation to have, honestly.
yeah, but
But
I mean, we're kind of rambling on here. So
we are. So, all right.
what else you got
Well,
other than Baps this
I
weekend?
think Babs, that's about it. You got the Short Track Super Series. I think the Peach State Classic for late models is down in Sonoma, Georgia. Other than that, the Garden State 100 at
Vegas late models.
Bridgeport. Vegas late models. You have the XR Series. They're out there. And then after that, that's it. So what we need to do here tonight, folks, is what we're going to do is we are going to be I'm going to be putting out some polls here over the next probably 3 or 4 days because our next show will actually be this coming Monday night. So we're doing a little bit things here because our producer Chris will be fleeing the country from the FBI and getting away from the tax man and all that other shit. Just for a
Mr.
couple months, just
NSA
to
guy
lay low.
listening, you didn't actually hear that.
He did not hear that. My FBI agent did not know what that's happening. So he's going to Scotland. You want to have the feds and the custom agents wait for him? Go for it. But yes, no. So we're gonna move the show a little bit around here. So we're gonna be putting up some polls on some different topics that we're gonna give out our year-end awards to, our first ever Hustle Awards. And we're gonna figure out the topics here in just a few minutes when we get off the air. But look on out for those. We broadcasted on Monday night. So this coming Monday, November the 15th, and that'll be the last Highside Hustle for the year, and then the last dirt race of the season that we have will be next Saturday. Not this coming Saturday, is the following, the 20th, at Accord for the Gobbler. Ooh, it's gonna be cold. Love it. Yeah, it's fine. We're fat. That's why we're fat.
New York in November. That'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Love it. But hey, it's gonna be good to get back up to Accord. I did miss that track last year. Last couple of years actually haven't got up there, but looking forward to that. So, Babs, what do we got this weekend? And who do you got winning Babs this weekend?
Brent Marks and Jeff Strunk.
Ooh, Strunky at Babs. I like that a lot. I like Strunky at Babs a lot. I'm gonna go. Marks and Marks and Pouch. I'm gonna go Marks and Pouch. So I think Billy got win up there already this year at Babs. So let's make it two.
Definitely two good picks for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I like it. So, all right, folks. Well, before we get off the air, Chris, what's coming up on the National Race Network, buddy?
Coming up tomorrow night will be the grid rival Ezra IndyCar Series. They are at Long Beach this week, I believe, in the IndyCars. Great race last week at Indianapolis. That one's going to be a lot of fun. Also, the Indy Pro 2000 Series. I have no idea where they're at tomorrow night. Then we head off for the Silver Crowns on Monday, and that'll be our last broadcast for the week, because I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. Yeah, it'll be a fun night.
Yeah, and our last show next week too.
That
Our
is
last
correct.
Our
7
last
o'clock Monday night,
the Hustle Awards.
the Hustle Awards.
Yes, we'll be here in our best tuxedo T-shirts.
If you two assholes can't show up in a tuxedo next week, I'm going to be so pissed.
You ain't gonna
I'll get a
catch me dead
tuxedo.
in one.
Then put
I'll
on
get
a
a tuxedo
dress. I don't give
t-shirt.
a
How's
shit.
that?
Look good. Murder
I
yourself
do have
up.
I'll wear a racer shirt with a tie. How about that? That'll look classy. I think I might do that actually, just piss you off, Chris. Anyways, folks, that'll do it for the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, thanks to Alex Yankowski joining us tonight on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline. 34 Motorsports for all the results down below there. Go check them out for all your safety needs, whatever you need. Sean and Amber have you covered down there. Thanks to Hot Shoe Racewear, Alan Grace, for this Highside Hustle flag behind me here. I got nothing else, folks. So that's Big Sexy Adam Rubright, executive producer Chris Graham. My name is Burt Wojcik. Keep on hustling, folks. We will see you guys on Monday night for the final edition of the Highside Hustle for 2021. Enjoy the weekend.